Hi, my name is Yaowen Ma, and I'm here today with Professor Ruben Lobel. We're at the IGEL 5th Annual Conference on Greening the Supply Chain. So to begin the discussion, I would like to talk about the problems of subsidy. In your presentation, you mentioned that subsidies are overcomplicated, and I was wondering if you could go briefly into what an overcomplicated subsidy means, and what are the implications of that?
So, to explain this a little better, I think that if you're a consumer, like you want to put a solar panel in your home, the hurdles that you need to go through bureaucratically to get the licensing permit for putting that solar panel, it'll take many months for you to get to the actual installation. And it's not clear which sort of incentives you have. You go from one city to another, you completely change the set of incentives you have for this project. I feel like if you look at what happened in Europe, they had what they call the feed-in tariff system, where you basically set a certain price for the electricity that you produce from the solar panel, and you lock in that price for the next 20 years. So you don't have to worry about uncertainty in the energy credits, in the price of electricity. Pretty much the cash flow for your investment is locked in at the time that you purchase the thing, and the thing is much more streamlined from the time you decide to buy a solar panel to the time it's on your rooftop. Right? So I think this is a big bottleneck of today for consumer adoption. Yeah. The other bottlenecks are the fact that consumers are slowly becoming aware and becoming confident about the technology, and the price of the installation is slowly becoming cheaper and cheaper.
Yeah.
Right?
So, and in the discussions today, the other area mentioned was also the Spain solar industry and the over-subsidization of the Spain solar industry. Now, what happened was they had a developing industry in solar area and they subsidized it, but that the subsequent economic crisis led to a collapse of the solar industry. Now the question is, China at the moment is infamously known for their heavy subsidization of the solar industry. Is that case study something that China as a government policy official should be aware of and concerned about?
So the problem with the Spanish case is that they went very strongly in the market, but with the hopes of the objective of developing a local solar industry, like develop the technology sector in the country. And when they realized they were just doing these big solar farm installations, that wasn't really taking off the technology within the country, unlike what was happening in Germany, they realized, well, it's not worth us putting so much effort in this, right? So it wasn't so much of the budget crisis that was the last drop in the bucket, but it was the fact that they were really not developing this solar ecosystem in the country, right? Which China is doing, right? China is developing a lot of solar manufacturing, R&D. They're developing their own consumer base. Now, the question that perhaps is pertaining to China, which I find interesting, is whether they went too strong and they created an environment where too many solar companies went into the market, and they're now fighting for their lives, and the price of panels is possibly lower than cost of production, because there's an oversupply in the market. People are just trying to dump their panels just to make sure they recover some of their costs, and with the prices of solar module today, it seems that they are perhaps artificially low because too many companies went in at the same time. Now, the market will regulate itself, but these shocks are not very favorable for the health of the industry.
Yeah, and subsidies are often used to protect their infant industries, but they also have to wean off of subsidies eventually. So how can governments make that policy transition without destabilizing the industry and encouraging a self-sustainable solar industry?
So that's a great question. I mean, if you see what happened to Germany from the beginning, the first day of the policy, they already had a forecast for how to phase out the policy over the next 20 years. Right? They had a forecasted phase out with a plan. So this year, if you buy a solar panel this year, this is the amount of subsidy you get. If you buy a panel next year, the subsidy will be here, and so on. And then they had a forecasted curve. And every few years they adjust it, and there are other implications of why these adjustments can be harmful. But they didn't shut off the subsidies so abruptly like Spain did, right?
Yeah.
So having a forecasted phasing out of the policy is good because it gives guarantees to the private sector to invest and know what's going on. The more volatility and uncertainty you reduce from the system, the better the system will react to it. Like what we have in the U.S. with the renewable energy credits, adds a level of uncertainty because the subsidies you're going to get as a consumer, a person that buys a solar panel, is subject to the market clearing of the renewable portfolio standard that defines the price of the credit. So if you don't know how that price is going to be next year, the year after, too many people come in and there's a surplus of credits, then the price of your subsidy goes down. Now, when you look at this environment, now I'm a firm trying to go into this market, trying to be a solar installation company. I don't know how much demand I'm going to have because the subsidies are volatile. I'm going to underinvest, right? And that defeats the purpose of the program. Right?
Yeah. Professor Ruben Lobel, thank you very much for talking with us today.
Right. Thank you.